how's everybody doing? Woo, good to be here. Thanks everybody for coming out to the Hickory Home and Garden Show. Right, there's some great vendors and products out here. You know, we live in a magnificent area, and it's really good to see all the craftsmen that show up. So, my name's Cody Bird. I run Alair Homes Hickory. We service from Wilkesboro, you know, kind of Hickory, Lenore, Morganton area. We got another office down in Lake Norman, and then Jeff Smith here runs the High Country office up in the mountains, and Jody is our interior designer. She does all the design work, and I'll let them talk a little bit more as well. I've been in the industry for about 20 years, been building for about 20 years. Pretty big proponent in the Home Builders Association. You see a few of those signs out and about in the booths, and that's just where people in the industry kind of come together to help out and try to keep housing safe and affordable. And we've got state associations and national associations, and last week was the great International Builder Show in Las Vegas. So every year we have a big show. There's about 150,000 people attend. All the newest and greatest products are out there. There's a lot of kind of talks behind the scenes of, you know, what kind of trends are out there, what's coming up. And, you know, this is hot off the press. I got home at, 10 p. or 11 p.m. on Friday. Jody got home at 1:30, or not p.m., excuse me. I got, 1:30 a.m. and also lost some luggage, too. So, you know, she had to buy a new outfit. You look great today, Jody.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think my mic died. My mic died, Kate. She's going to get some batteries. Swap with me for a minute. So we're going to, we just put this PowerPoint together pretty quickly. Jody got some nice pictures of the show, and we'll show you like all the wonderful things that we saw while we were in Vegas. All the things that did not happen at the show, what went on in Vegas, will stay in Vegas. So everybody, this is Jody Sutton, our designer.
Hey, I've been doing design for almost 30 years now, and I focus for over 20 years on kitchen and bath design, which is why we're doing a free kitchen design drawing at our booth. So if you haven't entered, please stop by and do that. We're going to do the drawing when we get back to the office. And then I've been working with Cody for about a little over 2 years now. So I get to help all of our wonderful clients make their, dreams come true in their new home. So I'm excited to show you what we saw out in Las Vegas.
That's great. That's great. And then Jeff Smith, our partner up in Blowing Rock. Tell them a little bit about you, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff Smith. I own the office in Blowing Rock, and we service the whole mountain region up there. We do also have an office down in Asheville as well. But if anybody has any properties up there in the mountains, as you know, a lot of people want to be in the mountains. I'm kind of a trench guy. Cody and I both. What that means is I was a carpenter. It was kind of the romantic idea of a builder. Just grew up working hard, and that's how I got into the industry, is my love and passion of building things. And been in it 20 years as well. And so we've got a great team and a great group of colleagues and tradespeople and partners all over the area, which come down in here as well. Cody and I have been friends for several years and really support each other, so that's why I'm here supporting him and also talking to anybody that may have some properties up in Blowing Rock or those surrounding counties. So excited to be here. Appreciate y'all inviting me, and I'm excited to see some of these pictures from Vegas as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff out there.
Yeah, feel free to ask us any questions. I mean, between Cody and Jody, I mean, we've got a wealth of knowledge, so as we get into things, because it's a smaller group, I would encourage people to ask any questions that might be on your mind about the home building industry. There's a lot of things have changed in the last few years, as y'all know. It's kind of a different market after COVID, and just a lot going on, and a lot of folks just don't know what they don't know unless they're in the industry. So feel free to ask.
Yeah, you got front row seats, world-class tickets to information. So we'll stop a little bit early and try to answer anything that you can as well. We had a good talk yesterday. So here we go. We're pretty lucky. We get to do a lot of nice projects, a lot of nice, pretty big renovations, some really nice custom homes. So we'll go over some trends. Welcome to Las Vegas, everybody. Just make sure y'all eat the mic.
Okay, so one of the seminars that I was able to attend was with a celebrity designer, Jennifer Farrell. She also has some TV shows that she's been on, and she went through design trends for 2025. So these are some of the nuggets that I picked up of things that are going to be trending this year. One of them was wood grain cabinetry. We've already seen that, coming back into play with stains as well as natural finishes. Tambour panels. You used to see them on appliance garages, if you're familiar with those. But now we see them as wall panels, cabinet panels. Tile, a lot of textures out there and geometric patterns. Decorative light fixtures, and what we mean by that is not just, recessed can lights, but lights that, fit your personality.
It's kind of like putting on a nice pair of earrings
is.
if you're a woman, right? I mean, if you're a guy too, you can wear the nice earrings. But.
Yep. Layered lighting. So what she means by that is not just lights in your ceiling, but lights in other places. So we can do lights under our cabinets or wall cabinets. We can do toe kick lighting, lots of different layers of lights. And natural lighting as well. So natural lighting kind of goes in with the biophilic design concept. So that just means bringing the outside in. So we like to, bring all that beautiful sunlight in. Focus on wellness, that plays right along with that biophilic design. Different size hardware. For many years, everybody picked, a 3-inch pull and did it everywhere. But now we see, the trend is just to do different sizes, depending on the size of the cabinet or the drawer. Natural stone. So she actually said that clients are moving away from quartz products and going back to natural stone. So more granites, marbles, quartzites. Quartzite is really big right now. And I have been so excited to hear this news that white and gray and navy blue are phasing out.
We've literally done, like, every house we've done in the last 5 years has had, like, white cabinets and navy blue accents.
Yes, exactly. And not that if you still like that,
That's
it's
okay.
fine to do it. But we saw it, consistently for 10 years. It's been a lot. And since those are being phased out, earthy neutrals are coming in. So what that means is just some softer whites, some tans, so warmer grays, not the cool grays that have been popular for so long.
Jody, a lot of these things that she's talking about too comes back to those like outdoor features, right? Mm-hmm. Like from COVID, we've all experienced like, man, we really like spending time outdoors, bringing the outside in. And I just talked to my great friends here about kayaking in the Congaree and, cottonmouths climbing in the boat. And that's kind of dangerous, but how do we, live that in our everyday life as well?
Yeah. And then these last two, dramatic jewelry box powder rooms, and that is just a powder room that may be color drenched, and so everything is one color. They're very moody and dramatic, and it's okay to do it in a powder room because you're not in there all the time. So these, dark, moody, bold colors. And then wet rooms, we've seen those, come into play over the last few years, and she said they're not going anywhere, they're here to stay. More people are doing those, so that's exciting.
Yeah, wet rooms falls right hand in hand with what we like to call aging in place and trying to make sure we've got the right kind of showers and safety bars and stuff in. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So it's just really where we, would make the entire room where if you were having like a simultaneous shower and bath maybe side by side, and it's kind of waterproofing the entire bathroom floor, for runoff or anything like that. And we've got some shower systems and stuff, I think, in here a little bit later on, maybe with bathrooms. And, just looking at, those spa type features that you may have at home. Does that make sense?
It's applying like the same principles of a custom shower to an entire room, and you have multiple drain locations, things like that, to your point. But some people introduce steam into those rooms and really have more of a sauna experience than just a shower that's in like a 4x4 area.
Especially when we get into no or very low threshold heights. If you think about like, maybe a possibility of a wheelchair or something like that. We want all the safety benefits, but we don't want it to look institutional like we're going to have to stay in the hospital, right? Mm-hmm. So, and please feel free, just like that, ask a question along the way. We'll answer anything. If we're not looking at you, just holler at us.
Okay, one of the other seminars I attended was the Sherwin-Williams color forecast for 2025, which is always interesting to see. They just what they do is they talk to designers, architects, lots of people around the country, and figure out what colors are going to be popular this year. So there are 4 categories. The first one is chrysalis, and that is just some timeless, subtle neutrals, as you can see, to replace those cold grays that we're phasing out. The next one is wellspring, and that just kind of makes you happy, just those, nice, fun colors.
And my wife was with me at the show, and she really liked the French roast, right? It made me want some coffee, obviously, but I like that.
They also, every year they give away nail polish in one of these colors. And so the one that we just saw, grounded, the very first one in the top left corner, that was the nail polish they were giving away this year. Okay, the next group is paradox, and those are bright, bold, energetic colors. And then kindred is just, again, those are kind of timeless and just make us feel relaxed.
Yeah, and I saw somebody take a picture, so that reminds me, like, if you see something you like, want to take a picture, go for it. If you see something, want to go back, stop by the booth, we're happy to talk about it even more.
So these next slides are just some interesting things that I saw in each of these categories. The bathtubs, I love fluted tubs. They had a lot of those there. And then all 3 of the other ones are concrete tubs. One of them, the one in the center, is a cold plunge. So those are becoming popular.
And from a builder's point of view, when we're getting in these like really big, heavy units like this, we also have to plan. We might have to put in a different kind of floor system or brace it up so that we can support those types of units.
Yep. These are just a few more tubs. The two-tone, I saw a lot of those. Some of them, may have gold on the outside and white on the inside. The one in the center is textured lithocast, which is just a proprietary material, which is similar to acrylic. It's Kohler's new artist tub. And then they also had an ice bath, which I had not seen there before.
Anybody do cold plunging or ice baths? I guess me and Jeff are the only people here. It is a new thing that's out there. A lot of people are trying to get back, and again, like through COVID, we really want to try to be healthy and do a lot of those things at home. So
yeah,
it's coming back, making circles.
These were just things you might find in your bathroom. So I saw this very interesting copper shower. He had a couple of them. One was circular, and then there was this one with panels. Lighted niches are becoming popular for showers. And then the smart toilet, I don't know if I connected a video to it, but I don't think it's going to work. So this was a wall-hung smart toilet that was actually in the New American Home that they do every year. And this, you walk in, you don't have to do anything. The lid raises. It talks to you, music plays, lights up. It was pretty crazy.
Finally toilets that clean themselves.
Yeah.
So, and you can imagine, again, just giving you some of that builder point of view, when you're thinking about projects, when you're doing a lot in the shower, there's a lot of safety stuff we got to do with the waterproofing and making sure we get the electrical connections correct. And the same way with these smart toilets. And even if it doesn't go to this extreme, we've got toilets that actually do plug up. You'll see the outlet there beside the commode that may have like a heated seat or a bidet or something like that goes along with it as well. So, and some of that stuff's actually a lot more affordable than you could than it was a few years ago.
Yeah, I actually saw from Bemis, which Bemis they have a place right behind us at our office, but they make a toilet seat that will retrofit a lot of different manufacturers' toilets, and it's very affordable. They have different levels of heated or not heated. They have the bidet features. So this one was kitchen sinks. The first thing that I noticed was the hex bottom and the stainless steel sink. It just a lot of people use the sink grids now to keep from scratching their stainless steel sinks. Well, Rivati has come out with this hex bottom, which is textured, and it keeps it from getting scratched, so you don't have to use the grids if you don't like them. And then these other 2 sinks were just, interesting colors, and all the accessories color coordinated with them. So
it's like we'll be tearing those out like we did back in the 70s when they had the pink toilets and all that stuff too. Pretty neat.
Those colors are coming back, though.
So if you've not remodeled your bathroom in 50 years, you're back in style.
So I saw a lot of glass vessel sinks. Those that look like shells were very interesting. And then the one on top looks kind of like hammered copper, but it's glass. Workstation sinks. So we've seen those a lot for kitchens, but I also saw a vanity sink, which had the workstation features. And then just lots of bold colors in vanity sinks now.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting out of the box, right? They're figuring out, you know what, this is our house, this is my house, I'm going to make this work for me. I'm not necessarily worried about the next people that's going to come in here, especially if you're thinking about, this is the place I'm living till the bitter end. Make it your own.
And that's one reason the white and gray is going away, because people, they did something that was simple and, just that everybody would like, but people are making it more personal now. So these were just some interesting lights that I saw. There were way too many pictures to choose from, so I just put a few on there.
When you're coming back into doing any type of project that you all are doing as well, I mean, a lot of that revolves around, number one, your budget, right? I mean, you got to set that and just work backwards from it. And, if you're working with a builder, a modeler, another designer, kind of like Jody, it's okay to show them these pictures, but you got to tell them, like, hey, this is what I'm working with. I don't want to spend, $25,000 on a light fixture. I want to spend $2,500 on all light fixtures. And that way they can kind of help you get down the right pathway. Who needs new appliances?
So some new things that I saw that I was intrigued by. We saw matte blue washers and dryers. The one in the center, those panels, those are designer panels for refrigerators. That doesn't apply to everyone, but it was just very interesting. New hoods that have dual metal finishes. So instead of just being, all brushed nickel, there are some other metals included on there. And then I saw an induction cooktop that just had a matte finish instead of, the glass, the shiny glass.
Yeah, a lot of components now are trying to, hide those components. I mean, we've always had like refrigerator panels or dishwasher panels kind of over the years. But again, now they're more of a statement piece than anything else.
Real quick, I'll say something. Who in here has been through a substantial construction project, remodel, or house? Nobody? I'm assuming you're here to learn. Y'all been through one. So you have some idea. One thing that I wanted to stress, it's very, very important to work with somebody that is an interior designer. A lot of folks aren't sure. Do we need an interior designer? You may be really good at making decisions, but there's so many selections. And one of the things that was exciting to Jody out in Vegas is she gets to see all the new stuff. But the real talent from a designer is to take all those selections and really marry them with your budget, marry them with your style, your personal style, and also put you in something that's not going to be, oh my goodness, we can't ever get our money back out of this if we try to sell the house. Because you want to think big picture when even though it's your space, and I hear you where a lot of customization, there's a way to do it artfully and tastefully to where it will still appeal to a broader audience, but it's just so difficult if you're not in the industry to have all those connections. So really rely, when you're looking for a builder, look for a builder who enjoys working with interior designers and having those professionals alongside as part of your team, whether it's a remodel or a new home construction.
It does start early on. I know I got some familiar faces from my talk in here yesterday. We talked all about going grocery shopping and all that stuff, but having an expert on your team, throughout that process, we do look at it. I wish I had a stool up here. It's a three-legged stool, right? The design on one side, the builder on the other side, and the client on the other leg. And if you kick one of those out, it just falls over. And when you have a heart problem, you go to that specialized heart doctor. You don't hire somebody that does it on the side, right? Just on Thursday afternoons from the flea market. An example of this, we're talking about aging in place, too, is like, this range as well. So, we have some obviously that has buttons and things in the back, but if something happened and your partner, had to get in was chair bound, you want to make sure they're able to reach these things, right? And that things are placed out, accordingly for that. That's great advice, Jeff. Any questions so far? Okay, great.
Okay, I saw a lot of green appliances now, and they're not the avocado green from the 70s, but like a forest green, and a lot of them are satin or matte finishes, so that was interesting. And then I really like the pet hair laundry pair.
Anybody have pets? Yep.
That's why I really like it, because every time I empty my lint trap, my dog hair is in there. So this this washer has its own trap inside. Super easy to just take out and empty, but it traps a lot of that hair for you. So that I really liked that.
I'd say, Jody, too, just touching on this one, it made me think of the gold. You know, there's a lot of gold going on in today's world.
So much gold. It's not the shiny gold like we used to see polished, gold everywhere, but the satin and the matte.
Champagne gold, rose gold, I mean.
These were some wood hoods that I saw. You can make your hood your accent piece by doing it in a bold color. Again, there's that tambour, again, shown in a wood hood. And then I like the brass strapping that was on the last one.
You're kind of getting on hoods here too, Jeff. You can touch on this. We do a lot around like healthy homes, right? Picking out products with finishes that may not have high formaldehyde levels. We are spending more time in our home. How do we think about those products that's going to actually benefit, our health? That's where we spend. That's where you sleep at, right? You're breathing there all night long. And when you're working with hoods, if we got any chefs in the room, that like to cook or do any of that, we have to plan for a certain size hood. And you want to make sure that if you've got a big hood that's pulling out a lot of the grease and the smoke out of the kitchen, that we actually have to introduce fresh air back into the home, because the homes we build nowadays are a lot tighter. Right, they're a lot tighter. Now we can control, the airflow in and out of the house. And those are all things to account for, not just how pretty they are, but what goes on behind the scenes to make that happen.
Oh, yeah, just a couple comments. That's a conversation that could be an entire class, as you can imagine. Building science is a very deep conversation. But I just want to encourage you, if you're looking at remodeling, talk to your builder about those type of things, because anytime you introduce this new technology in your home, what Cody just mentioned, you got to look at things like off-gassing, the types of paints and materials that you're using. And as a general rule of thumb, even if a builder's not necessarily a green builder, they're going to be doing some techniques that are going to make that house tighter. And the more tight you get a home, the more things have to work together as a system. And so, this isn't a sales pitch for Alair Homes, but we like to build homes that are going to perform well, and also educate our clients on ways that they can, live in that home in a real healthy way that's not going to break the bank. These things aren't as expensive as they used to be. There's still some things out there that you can do that may or may not have the payback, but it really covers the full gamut. That's why you brought it up on just hood colors, like what type of chemicals are in your house, because it can make you sick. And bringing in that fresh air in a proper way, properly designed HVAC system, it's really looking at the whole thing. So not only is the team important, looking at your whole house as a system is also very important in today's world.
Yeah, so, those of you that's getting ready to embark down that remodeling kind of building journey as well, I mean, these are things that you got to make sure, if you're working with an outsourced interior designer, or maybe you're going to hire an architect to get plans done, and they say, hey, go out and get 3 bids. Right, and you go out and you get 3 prices, and one's $800,000, one's $900,000, one's $1 million. At the end of the day, you're just guessing at all these things that are important to you and what's going to be in your home. And if you don't have those deeper conversations, you're not going to be able to understand what it is you're going to get. So
we always encourage you to think of it as a team. Whether it's Alair Homes or some other builder that operates in a similar way, make sure the team is put together up front. That's been our recipe to the most successful outcomes, is identifying that architect, the engineer, the interior designer, and the builder, and really work with them from day one instead of piecemealing everything, because you'll have a much more cohesive end result.
It reminds me of this cushy seat here too, Jeff, right? Because I can put a plug in for Kathy that runs Southern Style Furniture over in Hickory Furniture Mart. You'll see several pieces around the show at our booth and some other booths, and she actually has some furniture lines that have, I want to call it green features, right, that are, really good for not off-gassing a lot of those chemicals too. So look at that beautiful tile.
So I saw a lot of tile, and most of it did go along with what the interior designer said that would be trending about the geometric patterns, shapes. There's a lot of that in there. And then the next slide just shows some color.
Is anybody planning to do any tile in their kitchen or in their bathroom? Yep, a few organs.
I really liked all the black tile in the middle.
It's because you work for Alair Homes.
I
and
think
we
it
like
is.
black things.
We do like black. Yep.
It's really cool. You see the little designs, that's inside the tile there as well. And obviously, we got some great showrooms in the Hickory area. There's some really big showrooms down in Charlotte that's got a lot of choices. But, and again, a lot of this, you don't have to break the bank to get a really nice product.
No.
Jody, would you think that, there's been more trends with, I think we have a lot of conversations with clients. Is it smaller tiles that you're seeing? Is it larger tiles? Are you still seeing a mix?
We tend to see a mix, but a lot of people are going towards more large format tiles just because they don't want to clean as much grout. So those work really well in showers, bathroom floors, things like that. For backsplashes, we don't tend to see a lot of large tiles. You still, because there's not, a large area, you can do those smaller tiles back there.
I had a question on that.
Yeah.
We've got the shower that's 30, 40 years old, which, is the big piece on one side, and then, the grout and the next panel like that, and then everything seems to be going to smaller tiles now. So would you speak a little bit more to that in terms of the easy cleaning and, the grout turns black and I just can't get the crap out of it and all that stuff? What's
Yeah.
the easiest thing to maintain going forward?
Well, grout is something that you still have to replace over time. Right.
And I would say, when showers are installed properly, and that's going to go back to that holistic point of view. Well, the number one defense against mildew and mold is good dehumidification system. So you can't just go to Lowe's and buy that cheapest exhaust fan on the shelf and expect it's going to perform correctly. You want to make sure that you're getting the right kind of CFMs, cubic feet, to come out of that room to get that humidity out. And even a lot of times, people have fans in their bathroom on a switch and they don't never turn it on. So actually making sure that it gets wired correctly so that it's coming on when that shower light's coming on, the placement of it, and then the types of products. You really get, you're going to get the best bang for your buck. Everybody wants, I'm a consumer as well, we want the best bang for our buck, but we want to use those good products. So at the end of the day, the larger the tile, it's probably nicer. But we also got some behind-the-scenes planning because some of that stuff is really thick and heavy, or maybe we're doing like whole pieces of granite or quartz or some kind of recycled product as well. And, they make additives and things for the grout that really lasts a long time. But, we're all lazy. We don't like to clean either, but we still have to clean.
One thing for preventative maintenance that never gets talked about, drives me nuts. So your tile guy finishes, you got this beautiful shower. One of the last things he does is seal that grout. And that lasts for 3 to 6 months. It needs to be resealed, but nobody really talks to you about that. And that's as simple as cleaning it and then hitting it with that sealer. It's just a can. You can spray it on there and it'll seal that grout. You don't even see it. It doesn't change the color of the tile or anything.
After you clean it, you scrub it off a few times as well. I mean, you're scrubbing that sealer off over time on those grout joints, so think of that.
And that's not a permanent fix, but it's definitely going to maintain that new color. As we were talking about, I was just thinking about the last time I sealed mine. It's about time for me to do it again. So.
If you were on top of it, you ought to do every 6 months or so?
That's exactly right, yeah. I'd say 6 months is a good time frame. And like I said, it's not a big time commitment, but just nobody thinks about it,
And again, a lot of the grouts we use nowadays, I mean, we'll pick on Lowe's, but I mean, they do have some, you can buy the cheapest thing on the shelf, or you can buy something a little nicer that's going to last. And then we're able to deal with different vendors that have different products that have anti-mold and mildew features. But a lot of it comes down to maintenance, right? Which it's probably why you're here at the show too. We all, you only know what you know. I bet you're all excellent in your career choices, right? But even though sometimes we know it, we're still lazy in our own house and we might not get things done. The cobbler's kids have no shoes.
That's right.
I can attest to that.
Before
yes.
we move on to this, I want to say I did see another product at the show that was very interesting to me. It was it kind of goes behind your shower walls, and it dries your walls for you after you take a shower. it dries your walls when you get out of the shower. That way, it prevents that. Yeah. Don't know. I don't remember exactly how, but I'm going to look into it. She showed me how it worked, and she had cutouts so you could see what goes behind your walls. And when you get out of the shower, you just hit a button and it dries them, and that way it prevents that, the bacteria, the mold, the mildew from inhabiting your shower.
Right, it all starts in those systems. Kind of talking about that. Number one thing is going to be the exhaust fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting those things
It does,
out.
yeah. So cabinetry, I saw a few things that I like. This, the one on the left had metal inlay in the doors, which is a nice accent. And then I did see a lot of new paint colors, just a lot of different finishes that tie together with those Sherwin-Williams color trends for the year.
I really
So
think my
new
great-grandma
colors.
had that same color in her house.
It looks kind of peachy, but
Yeah, I like
it's hard
it.
to see with the shadows.
Pretty happy.
It does make you feel happy. Doors, these were just some interesting doors I saw. There were so many to choose from, but I really like the one on the left with the metal inlay.
A lot of people, when we're building that, that custom home, or we're doing the whole house remodel or whatever, especially if they're in a neighborhood, they just want their house to look different than everybody else's. And, we've had the privilege of being able to build completely custom doors that nobody's got. That's your door. But there's also really good options out there, for pre-made doors that will really, set you above everybody else.
Yeah, that's a place where you can, really personalize it. A lot of times the interior doors may, they're just kind of a little simpler, maybe not as much, boldness in them.
Yeah.
But you can certainly do that on
I
your
say,
front door.
ask your builder, too, if you don't know, what's the cost difference between a hollow core door and a solid door? Even if you don't put them on all the rooms, just to save some funds here and there, maybe we're putting hollow core doors on the closets. For us, we leave it all up to our clients. We want to have those discussions along the way, but it's there's certain places you could use a hollow core door, but please put the solid door on the kid's bedroom or the dog's room where we're going to lock it up when the guests come over, or whatever.
So I found this, I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but GAF has a solar roofing system, which I thought was very interesting. Instead of having, the traditional solar panels on your home, they make this system to go along with their roofing that is lightweight. It's easy to install. You can do as many panels as you want, and it is going to be a little bit less expensive than your traditional solar panels. And then the ones on the right were just some synthetic shakes, and I just really liked the feathering technique that they had done in those. It looked very unique.
Yeah, those are very natural looking. Again, a lot of the products we're starting to see
Yeah.
mimics that, but still has the great maintenance of composite materials. And solar panels, Jeff, makes me think as well. A lot of clients request that when we're doing a house, or at least maybe they're thinking about it, and they don't, you only know what you know until you start looking at cost and understanding that. And, anybody that lives in western North Carolina that experienced the hurricane last year, we had clients call us and thank us for, putting them in a whole house generator or a solar system that they were able to live without power for a week. That, it really made us feel good about making those decisions. So those are things to think about, even in a retrofit situation, about putting some of that stuff in. Hope we never have a storm like that again.
I know.
No, but we've got plenty of other, we usually get at least a snow apocalypse here and there.
That's right. Snowmageddon,
Okay, these next few slides were just random categories, so I just put them all together. Just some interesting things that I saw. So the first one was wireless charging in countertops. I saw it everywhere out there in Las Vegas, and it just lights up so you know where to lay your phone. It's pretty neat. The next thing is a zip system that this one faucet can give you instant boiling, chilled, or sparkling water from that one faucet. It's pretty neat. It'd be nice, for a bar area. The next product is from Incinerator. It's just a disposal injection system for septic tanks, because we've, all heard all of our lives you can't have a garbage disposal if you have a septic tank.
Is that new
So-
information to anybody in here? Does anybody have a septic tank? Plans on having one? Yep. So, yeah, a lot of clients always ask us, or maybe they're moving from a city and they found this beautiful area. They're going to retire out here in beautiful rural North Carolina, and they're like, yeah, we want and they just, talk about it like wanting a toilet. I mean, I got to have a toilet. I got to have a disposal. It's like, well, wait a minute. You really can't have one of these, and this is why it'll actually damage your system.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're really excited.
Yeah.
Of the houses, and Jeff, you too, the houses we build, probably, 75% of them are on septic tanks?
Yeah, on septic, and that is something. It's one of those things nobody ever talks to you about. Really educates you. Builders should be educating you and saying, hey, you want to really consider. When you go to design your septic system, if the county knows that you're putting in a garbage disposal, they're going to up the size of your tank because it takes longer. It can really disrupt the biosphere and the breakdown of those particles. So I'm excited to see this because, I actually have a disposal on a septic because I can't stand cleaning the drains out. I'm just really careful about what goes in there, It's just one of those things.
We could talk for an hour on septic tanks. I mean, it's pretty interesting, How about the vanity mat, Jody?
The vanity mat. So I had seen those before, which is just something, if you have a small vanity, you don't have anywhere to put your stuff when you're getting ready. So these mats just cover your sink and just allow you to put your, makeup, your brushes, whatever you're using on that mat. And these were just some interesting colors that I saw.
I feel like those would also be good for travel, too, like hotel rooms or
Yeah.
Airbnb or whatever.
Or if you have a camper,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't have a lot of room in a
Yeah.
camper.
Yeah, those
so,
are pretty neat.
Yeah.
Thanks for...
Do with the disposal injection system?
It hooks into your dishwasher line. It goes under your sink, and all it does, you don't do anything once it's installed. Every 12 hours, what it does is it injects this liquid into the system, and it helps to break down all those food particles and keep the balance between the good and the bad bacteria that it needs.
And you really don't need that product if you're hooked to the city sewer.
Yeah.
Right, because it's just going in the city sewer, and then the treatment plants are taking care of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You don't need that.
If you got a septic system, and there's other ways to go about it. Like if you look at the maintenance, this goes back to cleaning tile as well. They make additives that you should actually put in septic systems, especially with families with kids. We wash so many clothes, we put all the detergents and soaps, and it's killing all that good bacteria in the septic system. And they make good products that you can put in your toilet and flush it. But, a lot of people don't do that. So this is just like that slow drip. So you're constantly putting that good stuff to combat all the bad stuff we put in there. It's a good question. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm in charge of the clicker.
I did see lots of wine rack systems, so if you're interested in that, we can do those for you. Just some freeform lighted mirrors. There were lots of lighted mirrors out there. Some bold colors on shutters. If you like shutters, we've seen the black, the gray, the burgundy, the green, but this was some bold color choices. And then I saw textured drywall panels made. Those are made of wood pulp, just to give an accent wall if you want something like that.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about each one of them. On the wine storage, I mean, it's kind of going back again through the pandemic. People are spending more time. I mean, obviously, they may have collections like wine or cigars or whatever. You can spend any amount of money you want to spend on something like that, but you can also have some really good appliances that are built in if you just wanted to keep, 6 bottles of wine or something like that as well. We've done some cool projects that, where people have bourbon collections or something like that too, right?
Yep.
And then on the textured drywall panels, it kind of made me think of just textures in general, because I know that was on your list. I mean, Jeff, you're the same way. Like, we get a lot of requests on, textured walls, textured doors, trying to mimic looks on the outside. We do a lot of craftsman, style homes where we're getting all those textures, and it all comes on your budget, right? So leaning on somebody, you want to find a good captain that knows the journey, knows how to navigate the waters, and can help make those choices, as you're going through those projects together. Oh, we don't have to iron clothes, do we, Jody?
Occasionally. And I had seen, over the years since I, was involved in kitchen and bath design, we always saw the pull-out ironing board, which was a small one, and it, just folded out. Well, I saw this one, and it does the same thing, but it's a full-size ironing board pull-out. So I liked that. And then I saw curved floating shelves. Typically they're just rectangular, but these had curved ends, which I liked. Some more textured wall panels. And then LG makes that styler cabinet closet. It's like a steam closet, and it disinfects, it steams. You can even crease your pants in there. It's a really interesting appliance.
I've had an opportunity, Cody. I don't know if you weren't in New York, were you? I was up in New York, went to, you were there.
Yep, I was there.
So we got to tour the LG factory, and I was pretty impressed. I mean, nobody really goes out and just thinks about appliances, and I mean, everybody knows Wolf and Viking and things, but LG is so creative. The technology that they've brought in, and they've got a high-end line that can compete with Wolf and Viking, but the technology, Wolf and Viking can't touch them. Like, it's pretty incredible.
Because they also make TVs, right, and other
That's right.
products. I mean,
Yeah, and so I was very impressed, and I saw that exact same
Yes.
unit, and I was like, wow, that's pretty nice,
Yeah.
especially for a guy. I've got 2 sons, and like, you just hang the clothes in there, and you don't even have to.
And we don't need
pull
that
them
ironing
out.
board.
So definitely keep LG in mind. They've got some really neat products.
they do. When we're working with people, we use all different brands that they may do, but LG's a really good partner for us, and the Home Builders Association in general. Of all the great things. I actually heard at the show, Jeff, the president of the company done a presentation I was in, and he said that LG was the #1 consumer brand now when it comes to appliances. And so, that speaks a lot. I've got them in my house as well and really like them. Ooh, that looks warm. It's pretty cold in here. I wouldn't mind having turn that on.
Well, that is actually a water vapor fireplace.
What is that, Jody?
So it's very cool. It's really it's for ambiance. You can stick your hand in it. It's not hot. It was very, very cool to
I'm
see
cold
that.
again.
Yeah, you're cold again.
So fireplaces in general, right? We could probably spend a little bit of time on that. We do live in that we still get all 4 seasons here. A lot of people like to have that ambiance. We've got one in a bathroom going on right now as well. So, people just want to have that look, have that spa kind of space at home. This is the bathroom. I want to just soak in the tub, have a glass of wine, read a book. How do we put that in? And although a lot of times we see pretty pictures, there's a lot of work behind the scenes to make stuff happen. So, proper planning,
That's right. The next one is a Smart Strand silk carpet, and you can actually find that here now. So it wasn't new to me out there. It just reminded me that I think it's a very interesting product. It is made of silk and some other materials. It makes it more plush than typical fibers, and it's also very, very pet resistant, which I like because I have pets. So if you go to their website, it'll show goats, warthogs, all kinds of stuff on their carpet.
Wow.
So it says all pet resistant.
Yeah. So carpet in general, there's a lot of people over the years. It's like, for years we've been pulling carpet out of houses. We do use a lot of luxury vinyl floors. They've come a long way as well. We still do a massive amount of hardwood floors. Just depends on the kind of look, but, carpet is not out the door. I mean, a lot of people are going back with carpet. It's come a long way. There's a lot of great, allergy features. That's actually a reverse of what you hear that's in carpet as well. Easy to clean, easy to maintain, and it's nice getting out of the bed and having, a warm place to put your feet.
Yep.
I guess if I had silk carpet, I'd probably just sleep on the floor. You wouldn't have to buy a bed.
Yeah, and a lot of the carpets that I see now are a lot of patterns, and I don't mean like, a bold floral print like this, something like this. It's just a tone on tone, just a subtle pattern, something other than just your plain plush carpet. The last picture there is just colored glass countertops. I did see one vendor that had those, which would be nice for an accent area, a bar, maybe a powder room, something like that.
Yeah, and you can light those up as well,
You
right?
can, and they have, you can do textures on them. So I talked to the guy, he said you could do textures on top or just underneath, just so you can kind of see it like that one, see through it.
Yep, and the same thing makes me think about like shower sections as well. They've got those glass products for showers that you can line up, and also certain types of stone, like quartz or granite, but certain types of man-made stone especially that you can backlight and actually have that ambient light in a room.
Yeah, onyx is great for
Yeah.
backlighting.
We talk a lot about closets when we're designing houses. You know, it's usually a big space, and the wife gets, 90% of the closet, the husband gets 10% of the closet.
Yep. I saw lots of very interesting closet accessories. One that I hadn't really seen before were some leather closet rods, which are a little higher end, but they had lots of different leather accessories, so they all coordinate. I saw lots of lighted floating stairs, which, go really well in a modern home.
Yeah, and even the lighted steps when we talk about safety, when we're planning a new home from scratch, we bring that kind of agent in place all together. How do we plan this out to have 0 steps into the house? Sidewalk goes right into the house. The garage floor is the same level as the house. How do we get rid of steps? How does it work for an 80-year-old and still work for an 8-year-old, right? And not look institutional. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing. If you do have steps, you're also able to, also like backlight some of the stairs in some cases where it is a good safety feature.
Yeah, you can also do those on a motion sensor as well. Yeah. The next one is I just saw some aluminum wood grain soffit material, which is nice.
Can you believe that is metal?
Yeah, it's aluminum. So that way, your soffits on your porches, you can have that nice wood look. It's easy to clean, easy to maintain. It's not, not the vinyl stuff that you tend to see.
And we like it because we don't like to do maintenance. So there you go.
No painting. The last one is just some hardware. Cabinet hardware that I saw that was sustainable. It's made from upcycled fishing nets. So they had some other colors and different designs in it, but I just thought that was a nice product.
I think one trend from the show, Jody, as well is like recycled materials in general.
Design.
Like, hey, we're humans here. We want to try to keep the earth up. How do we do our part to keep everything maintained and not create so much trash? So we still do that. See a lot of recycled products. What we want is recycled products. It's also not more expensive than making products from scratch using raw material.
Right.
So.
One comment that just popped into my mind. So I think we can all agree in here how important it is to be good stewards of what we have. And the building process, as a rule of thumb, can generate a lot of waste. And it goes back to, again, talk to your builder about good design, right? When you have the right people on your design team, the architect, the interior designer, the builder, when you're planning out a home, you can reduce that amount of waste very simply. But again, if you're the more old school approach to building is, hey, I'm going to go hire an architect and then I'm going to get this set of plans. I'm going to put it out to bid to 4 different builders. That's getting to be a thing of the past. And I know you feel like that's protecting you on cost, but really there's all these open-ended questions. There's all these big areas in your budget that you don't know yet, and it's based on your selections. I've seen time and time again where clients will come to me. I have a client right now that spent $80,000 with an architect and had to throw the plans in the trash and start over.
Those of you that was in my talk yesterday actually used that same example, right? Balling the plans up, throwing them in the trash.
Yeah, and they got so upset because they saw the value in doing it as a team. It was worth it to them to hire another architect and have a builder involved and have an interior designer, because that architect, they missed their budget by $1.5 million. Because they're architect. Listen, today's world is a different world. Architects used to have kind of a handle on the cost, but who's up against the windshield? The builder, right? So if you're working in tandem with an architect, more of a design build approach, that's going to be my wholehearted recommendation all day long. I don't care if you're dealing with a small remodel or if it's a new house construction. Get a team put together. If your builder says, "Oh no, we don't need an architect," that's a red flag.
Oh, we don't pick out stuff before we start. Let's just build the house and we'll figure out what it's going to cost later. Yeah. You can pick out all this stuff later.
Or if the builder shows up and you want to redo your master bathroom and he says, "Well, y'all go pick out the stuff and we'll do it. We'll get going. It's going to cost about this much." I promise it'll be 3 times what he tells you, and you will not have the control that you think you're going to have in the process if you don't have experts helping you navigate the market today. This is not the days. When I first started, I'd roll out a piece of meat wrapping paper and we'd literally draw your house on a piece of paper and we'd build it, because, hey, do you want oak cabinets or do you want white cabinets? There just wasn't millions of options out there. And now there are, right? And you need to be educated and get to know the people that are going to be working on the most expensive investment of your entire life.
I'd say that's one of the things that we really appreciate is that continuing education, going to things like the Builder Show. We actually do some shows in North Carolina as well, just making sure that we're always learning about these new things so that we can help people make smart decisions. That's what we view our choices are. Now, we'll shut up. So what questions does anybody have about, whatever kind of project you're doing? It could be early on. You don't know, what's happening. We'll help you any way that we can.
I have a very selfish-specific question.
That's okay. We'll answer those too.
We're doing a renovation at our
Oh, that was enough. Sorry about that.
shut it down. And so we've got the 40-year-old cabinets or the nice old cabinets that are, have the nice, and they look fine to me, but, then like you were saying, everybody's got white cabinets now. It's easy to say, well, yeah, if they're 40 years old, tear them out, we'll put you in new stuff. Are those nice, old, kind of orangey, reddish, deep oak kind of cabinets, is that a thing, or is it time to get rid of them?
As a designer, I would say it may be time to move on. Those colors, even though people are still doing oak cabinets, the colors have changed over the years, and those oak, they've patinaed, as much as they're going to get, I'd say.
And, just maybe on the builder side as well, kind of things what we see. Remember, it all starts with your budget and what you're revolving around that as well. So if you don't have that extra, $20,000 to $100,000 plus for those new cabinets and the features that you want, you could consider refinishing them. They do have some good things that are out there that it's like, hey, they're actually pretty good cabinets. The doors are not falling off. Or even build new doors. So if the boxes, that's kind of the part that's behind the scenes, are in good shape, you could always put new doors on them and finish the boxes out, new handles and hardware. All of it goes back to your budget, right? What you feel like your comfortable level of investment is, what you're going to put, back into that home.
The only thing I'll add there is a common mistake is people are like, hey, we can just paint them, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you paint them, like that is not a good solution. That is not refinishing the cabinet, because that paint is going to peel off, it's going to flake off. If you don't have somebody that is a seasoned veteran in that area, like some cabinet companies, not all of them, but some can offer, they'll come in there with an ozonator and set it up, and they'll literally tint off the section, and they'll put a legitimate new finish on those cabinets. And that's not going to be cheap either. So at some point you start wondering, should I just get rid of these things? But I think another solution, along with refinishing, if you really hate the look, is updating the hardware and the new door fronts, things like that. Because if it's solid oak cabinet boxes, it's hard to beat, solid wood cabinets.
But if you rearrange the layout of the kitchen, or you're adding more cabinets, it's gonna be hard to match too.
Most of the time,
Definitely.
you're going to be ahead of the game to just start from scratch
Yeah.
and take those cabinets and put them in your garage and use them.
Or you could even try to sell them, in some sort of marketplace, get a little bit of money back. Yeah.
Well, what we like to do too is we don't sell people's cabinets when we tear them out, but we like to call Habitat for Humanity too and say, hey, I see a lot of head shaking. That's great. Like when you're doing that bathroom or whatever, there's actually some good products and they'll come pick it up. And then you're turning around and getting a tax donation, but also helping somebody else out down the road.
Yep.
You had another topic. You was going to, you was bringing up something else. We must have answered it. Yeah.
So really, budget-wise, is it the builder that tells you how much it's gonna cost you to?
Okay, the couples that were in here yesterday that we went grocery shopping and we talked about that, does anybody want to answer that one for me? At the end of the day, here's the real simple thing. So there's really two numbers ahead of you for any project that you're doing.
Let's say the
Right,
bathroom.
right. So like a bathroom, a new house, kitchen, I don't care what it is. There's two numbers. One number, it's the cost to do whatever all these dreams are that's in front of you, right? If you put everything out on paper, there's a cost associated with that, right? Well, that may or may not actually fit your budget, which what we like to refer to as your comfortable level of investment. What makes sense so that, somebody give me a name. What's your name? Mark. What makes sense so that Mark don't have to go back to work so that Mark can retire? Right, I have a certain number that's ahead of me. This is what I want to do. Maybe I'm going to, borrow money against the house. Maybe I'm pulling out of our, retirement investment or whatever. And that's the number that you got to work with. And you just need to work backwards from that. So you need to develop. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know. I don't know how much a new Ferrari is, but I know if I'm either going to go shopping for that Ferrari or a used Honda. right? So sometimes you need to work with somebody like a designer or a design build company like ours just to get down the pathway to understand it. And it's like, hey, yeah, all these things that I really want is really going to cost me $1 million. Is that something I want to spend or not? No builder can answer that question for you. That's a decision for you and your family to make. You know, what do you feel like you want to put back in on the project? Does that make sense?
I'll go one step
yeah.
further and say it a little bit differently than he said it, because I feel like, you know, if you don't know what things cost, it's a very scary road to go down, because there's so many different.
You just don't start.
You don't even start, and there's so
With
many.
your 40-year-old cabinet.
So I'm going to give you some advice that I would recommend. If you want to learn what things cost, definitely pick a few reputable builders and have conversations. The questions to ask are, how much control do we have over selections? You know, how much are you going to show us in terms of full disclosure, transparency? So if I go to the cabinet store, am I going to get to see the actual cost, or is it going to be all clouded and gray and you're just going to tell me what this thing's going to cost? I'm a firm believer in, when a client comes in, is that educational process and then showing them exactly what our cost is, right? There's a margin we have to make, we're in business, but when you peel that out and say, hey, this is the cost, you can start having more control over saying, I don't need a $50,000 set of cabinets for this kitchen. Here's another line. I had a client, real quick example, I had a client that came from Dallas, Texas. They were retired, they're on a fixed income, they just, you know, had to stay within their budget, otherwise they're going to be uncomfortable in retirement. Well, it's a fun time working with a designer and going, picking out your cabinets, your kitchen. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Well, she got her prices back on the kitchen, and it was $170,000. She broke down and started crying. And after she collected herself, she's convinced they can't even build the house. They can't afford it. I called the cabinet company and I said, hey, I apologize for not telling you more of their budget range and where they really need to stay. I need you to show them 2 different lines. She went back down there and was extremely happy with what her budget would actually purchase
Instead of the other way around.
And so that's what Cody's trying to tell you, is think about, you know, obviously within reason. I mean, if you say,
Laugh and walk away.
Yeah, you think like, hey, I called some builders up, because sometimes we're the bearer of bad news, right? Like, I mean, you know, you can do a bathroom remodel for $20,000 or $200,000, right?
Right.
I mean, you can do kitchens, just like Jeff said, you know, $50,000 or $250,000.
the same kitchen, like it's just a matter of what are you putting in that.
But you only know what you know, so we got to wrap it up so that our next people can get going.
Yep.
Although they're probably enjoying our conversation maybe as well, but, you know, call as many people as you can and talk to people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, your job as a consumer, find out just as much as you can. If you haven't picked up one of the white sheets of paper, it's got a list of questions on it that you can actually ask people to learn, because that's what we tell everybody that we talk to. Learn as much as you can so that you can
Just
protect.
based on you three.
Yep.
I would probably pick the designer first, but she won't know the pricing, really. She
Yeah.
knows the-
Well, our designer does, because she works with us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
The builder, he won't know
Yep.
either, so.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
We'll be out at the booth if anybody wants to
You know,
chat.